Alright, man. Kibana a few like people are quite interested in this U.S. election. So I don't know if young niggas been paying attention. I've been obviously just the checker here, but I'm not.
Yeah,
really
I just check every couple of hours.
Yeah,
but I'm not so invested.
Yeah, I'm not too vested.
Yeah, I'm not too vested. The only thing I'm vested in is for Trump to leave. But then I was also thinking to myself, I don't have the pros and cons. Like, I haven't gone into the nitty-gritties of what's his policy to Africa. It's just that, like, obviously the way he's positioned as a clown, it's almost like the thing ya Zuma, where if everybody said we wanted Zuma out, there were people that were not even doing some self-introspection.
Well, actually, why do you want him?
Yes, like he seems like he's a clown and whatnot.
Yeah, he's dumb. He's always been made fun of in the media. Like, if you look at like shows, this one I'll say, Trevor Noah. You know, he's always been clown. You know, like, do we have a grasp on his policies?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I haven't really vested a lot of time in terms of how does his presidency affect Africa.
It's just that as a person and as a president, he came out obviously from the news, from the mainstream media news that you get. Besides the clownery, like he's he's a racist or sort of like racist,
agendas and yes.
Yeah, obviously that sort of shit makes him unlikable.
And I think it's that thing. Yeah. Trump is also when I draw a parallel to Zuma, is he seems to lack decorum.
Yeah.
And he seems to not fill the mold of what a statesman is. So when he won, whether he was already prejudged, irrespective of his policies, basically based on how he carried himself, how he speaks, his decorum, he was already regarded as a persona non grata. And I think that's what happened to Zuma.
Yeah.
Because you started hearing just because he didn't have education.
Yeah.
And he was following on the footsteps of people that were highly educated or seemed as intellectuals. People were already saying he does not fill the mold of the president. And from the jump, there was already a media agenda to not have him as a president and clown him.
Yeah.
So I feel like
because no other president has been clowned like Zuma.
Yeah.
No other president.
And no one has been clowned like Trump in America.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he's the most...
Manzu.
He's the most...
of the people.
In terms of dignified, like African male
presence,
dignity, presence. He has it more than any of them.
Cholese had presence.
Yeah.
How to baba for nothing.
Cholese had presence.
Yeah.
And in Tenanyana, like seeing all that, like that, those Piro fucking shower things and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Nah, that's not how you do it. But I get kind of baby tongue. Is it baby tongue? Satire.
Satire,
yeah. I get it, but
satire,
it was borderline disrespectful.
Some of them were funny though, but
some of them were funny.
It was borderline
but that one wasn't.
Yeah, it was borderline
with the shower
head.
Fucking thing every time he threw him.
I don't like that shit.
Yeah, I didn't like that shit. It was borderline disrespectful. But
and the nigga that drew a dick on him or some shit.
And that's a black dude.
Yeah.
He's
why did you do it?
All his artworks are perverted.
Something spear. It has a name.
Spear of a nation.
Spear something.
Spear of a nation, man. He was showing his dick. Yeah.
Oh man, fuck that.
And then ane batswere cherry ba mo pinile down the ANC members or the MPs. But it's justice. And he's positioning himself like he's literally fucking the justice system.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, that was fucking wild.
Satire.
Satire
is another form of propaganda. Right? It's sort of like a subsection of it.
Yeah.
I'd kill a nigga that was to like fucking be so obsessed with my dad like that. I'd go after him.
Hey man, because it seems personal.
Yeah, like I'd go after a man that depicts my father like that.
Yeah. That's why
it seems personal.
That's why sometimes, like, what politiki ba Africa or from like dictatorship countries, when they're trying to silence the media. That's why, like, and even if it's not the media, if you just heard you speaking ill of of the leader, that could get you in some hot water.
Yeah, because I think in African tradition there is a unwritten rule that respect for seniority and authority cannot be compromised.
It's paramount.
Yeah, it's paramount. Even if it's like how manager, and that's a challenge we find as like young black professionals. How manager time and 45 or 50. It's not easy to effectively manage him as an African, and he's of an African origin, because like even with you, like how office
and the way you speak to him is also
so
I have a guy like that. I can't, like, I'm unable to tell that nigga what to do. But then the nice part is that he's extraordinaire, you know. But like Hakimu Sukudis, because I feel like, man, this nigga is old, bro. I can't order this nigga. Yeah, I can't sweat this nigga.
I can't sweat this nigga.
Yeah, so that's why, like, the African dictators, you are right, Tori.
I can't sweat.
They feel like, I'm a fucking president. There's just things you don't do, even if I'm wrong. Like, there's things you just don't say.
Yeah, I agree with Jolly, those are the pillars, like the media and freedom of speech. Those are the pillars.
It's fucking Western pillars.
Of democracy is a Western concept.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, but we bought into it. We've bought into it. Yeah, there's certain elements, because obviously, like talking truth to power. Yeah. You know, it's things that are.
Because you see, democracy says equal opportunity, right? Give first come first serve, right? Gas Africa, it's not first come first serve.
That's why the U.S. is a constitutional republic, because democracy wouldn't work there. Like the in the true sense of the word, where you're counting
all the votes.
Each vote individually.
So
now the country's so big. The country is literally a continent.
Yeah, they got a college.
So now you could have people that voted in something, the majority of which live in LA, and they dictate in policy that's happening in Georgia.
Yeah.
So
you have to balance to make sure that the people in those states are able to choose their leadership and swing votes fairly.
Yes.
Fairly, you know. Counting one vote, one person is not going to work.
It's not going to work.
In a population that big.
In that context. And so that's why I gave first another way, but I want to banana those electrical
with the electoral votes and the college. It's important.
But if you look at the ANC, not the South African, how we elect the president, but how the ANC elects a president, that's the same thing with KZN, because KZN has got a lot more branches.
So it has a large number of supporters.
So if you look at politics from a regional point of view, what is pressing for maybe KZN as a voting bloc may not necessarily represent the balance of the other provinces. But because they've got the sheer numbers, it means convincing them, you might get a candidate that is endorsed by them or is more attuned to what their needs are, and because they've got numbers, then he gets to become a president. But he's a president who now has to balance the objectives of the other provinces as well. But so with the NC, there's a similarity in how.
So democracy has its shortcomings in those sort of stuff, because, I mean, this guy's principles, or the reason that the KZN branches voted him in at their conference, don't resonate with what we need. We need the other. You see, but we're counting one. So obviously they'll always win. Their interests will always come first because they're the largest population. You know, and I feel, and maybe that's how white people feel as well. And colored people that you know, they're a majority, but sometimes, you know, like democracy just needs you to be able to adapt it to your environment, which is something that we as humanity, for the large part, have been failing to do. You know, like if you look at how it started, not everybody could vote. You know, it was people of a certain class. Then it became only people that own property or land. You know, then it was just men. You know, then it was just
white women.
Like it changes over time to suit, because now the reason those policies were in place, like besides the race part, they were saying that, I mean, the peasants don't really have the education or like understanding of politics and governance
for them to influence them.
To influence.
To make an informed decision
about their
on
leader.
choosing a leader.
Yeah.
And because they do not know, we cannot put them in a position where they're able to choose it. They're more than us, so their choices will be so uninformed that they're going to put trash leaders up there.
Yes.
That's why we cannot afford them a vote.
Which is fair.
Which is fair, and it kind of makes
For
sense.
those times.
Because they don't know. Which, to a certain extent, it still applies today. Because the reason...
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are not true.
The reason we still have a blind following to the ANC.
Yeah.
Majority of those is people that don't really understand.
They don't know shit.
The impact of
you
politics.
speak to that person about the balance of payments, like
Shiga, that's
economic concepts. No, like
how to
hey, ho na le nkgono mongwe ne ba mo bontshe on Twitter. Ba mo tso go tlo votela ma, a re ke votela modala. And that time Mandela's long dead.
I'm thinking Zuma Mudala.
Yeah, no. You know, try to what's about fella
it's a modela.
Oh, na misspell. Una mispronounce.
The black, green, and yellow.
All she sees is green, yellow
is
Mandela, black, right?
Yeah,
that's
green,
all she sees.
That's all she knows.
Hana kalo vota. Una votela modela. Are lo votela modela. Sim PFF what modela.
Yeah. That's my nigga.
And those are the people that are choosing your leaders.
Bro.
So like it's but at some point then you start treading on discrimination. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's very slippery. Very,
but also I think what it does is that I think in the equation, democracy kind of is an equalizer or the qualifier, and then you always have to plug other things already. It's almost like co-spanning. If we were to go purely on talent, it's always just a talented person that's going to get the spot. It's always just a talented person. And the talented people are few. There are people that might be disgruntled that are not necessarily talented. And they may have to be. So every now and then you might say, okay, cool, maybe this time around, let's just put somebody and overlook somebody that's talented.
Yeah, and sometimes talent doesn't make you a great leader.
Yeah.
It might make you good for the job. Like, for instance, when we just opposed Mbeki Lizu, Mbeki was the intellectual, right? Great. Groomed to take kind of leadership. That's what he did all his life. Exile, just study, learn how to run a country or whatever the fuck. But he couldn't connect. But
but technically he was strong.
Yeah, technically he's strong, but you can't connect to the people who are supposed to follow you. You know what I'm saying? So you look at Zuma, who when he steps in a room he shakes everybody's hands. He's out here dancing with us. He's a man of the people, bro. He wasn't technically strong, but he's the man of the people. Like, I feel good following him.
Zuma.
Hey, whether he's leading me to shit, I get to but it felt good. It felt good to follow him.
Maybe that's what Trump represents to a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying.
He connects.
Split. The vote is between Biden and Trump, right?
It's almost neck and neck.
We're talking about like tens of millions of people, right, that really believe that we need to close our borders. And we need to build a wall and fuck the Mexicans. There's not enough jobs in the country. We need to stimulate industry, trade, and manufacture in the country. We need to limit the amount of Chinese products that are coming into the country because they are hurting our markets.
MAGA.
That's how many people believe in that philosophy. That's how many, and to have that many people, what the hell is going on here? I don't see.
There's no pass moving.
Yeah, there's no.
Hola.
Okay,
Kitso, yeah, dihlaile. So what does that So now you can't say like 50 million people that believe that the border should be shut, right? You can't say their voices do not count for anything just because 100 million people believe that the border should be open.
Exactly.
Because 50 million people
It's
is
significant.
a lot of people.
Yeah,
It's significant.
It's a significant number.
It's significant.
So what are you saying about this? Are you saying that 50 million people needs
That's a third.
ne, do not matter because 100 million people decided that we're gonna go the other way?
Yeah.
And those are the fallacies and shortcomings of democracy.
Yeah, but you can't please everyone.
You know, like you can't.
You can't.
You know, but like, you know, just the way it means that now. You see the way that the country split. It means half the country's unhappy.
And half the country doesn't like your incoming president.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're gonna have to just deal with it.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm trying to
Yeah,
like,
they're gonna have to deal with that shit, bro.
which is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then now I wanna like with Trump because he's, as things stand, he's currently like losing the election. You know, and
Now he's losing.
Yeah, he's losing. It's like went to stop the count.
He's
doing,
going through a meltdown.
yeah, he's doing African leadership. Trying to nullify the vote.
And that's what I like.
Trying to nullify the vote, but you know, Dwayne talking about the democracy in America, like he's not being entertained. Like those things are not really being entertained in the way how they would have been entertained.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Or highlighted.
Or highlighted or stop the count in
Banana Republic.
You know, Banana Republic. You know what I'm saying? Like the democracy there, it seems to be quite intact enough for these sort of thing to taint the election. Hadi pass it at some.
Nah, I think it has more to do with, which is what the Western nation does better than us. In fact, because the media interest here is also represents Western interests or agendas, it's simply saying we will never hang our dirty linen in public, even if we hate Trump ourselves. But we're not necessarily going to concentrate on things about him that may have a reflection on us. But if he does all his bloopers that just reflect on him and his family, we can be happy to do that.
Yep.
So for now, we're not going to be happy as a media in America to portray that actually America, having been a beacon of and a custodian of democracy, they're actually going through what an average African state would have gone like.
Yeah. Because this nigga is making claims already. Even if that nigga is elected, he literally said that. Okay, yo, I don't think I'll accept this shit. Even if the result says he wins, you know,
because he wants to dispute.
Yeah, he wants to dispute
the legitimacy
shit.
of the vote count.
Of
the vote count. If it was Western media reporting on the African president saying this, it would have been boom.
They would have concentrated more on that.
On that, okay, Habatozama, despondent dictatorship, whatever. But you didn't hear those sort of echoes about Trump. You know, it was highlighted, nyana, but you don't hear those things.
You know when you say that,